birth story for baby number 4. Before I get into this story, I'll give you the quick rundown of how my other labor and deliveries went. So for my firstborn, she came at 40 and a half weeks, with my secondborn at 39 weeks and my thirdborn at 37 and a half weeks, all with epidurals, all at the hospital. So now on to my 4th baby. She came at 38 and a half weeks, and this was probably my wildest one yet. So Nell Rose made her arrival on Sunday, October 29th at 1:20 p.m. But the story kind of starts that Thursday leading up to that Sunday, so I think that's the 26th. All throughout my 3rd trimester, I was experiencing Braxton Hicks contractions all the time. I was extremely active on my feet all the time, whether it was working out, taking care of my 3 kids, all of that. So I was just Braxton Hicks like crazy, but nothing that was ever bothersome, nothing that was painful, just the contracting, the squeezing of the Braxton Hicks. It wasn't until that Thursday night that I actually started experiencing more of like menstrual cramping, and it was, we put all the kids to bed, it was like 7 p.m. at night, laying down, relaxing, watching a show on TV, and I started feeling more of, like I said, menstrual cramping, just like a little ache. It was just kind of annoying. You could just kind of tell it was there. So it was the Braxton Hicks, but like a little step higher with the actual, oh, there's some pain along with this. And this was happening about every 20 minutes, but nothing intense. So I didn't think anything of it. I just figured, oh, maybe I'm dilating a little bit. My body's getting going, but nothing came of it. And this was the day after I was 38 weeks. This is 38 weeks in one day. Friday came along, nothing throughout the day. Felt totally normal. I went to the gym, went about my day as normal, but then again, it wasn't until at night, after all the kids were in bed, relaxing, laying on the couch, that I started feeling the menstrual cramping again and again, every 20 minutes. But I know sometimes your hormones can get heightened towards the end of the day, so I just figured, all right, things are just working a little bit. We're maybe getting closer to delivering this baby, but nothing's like really painful or uncomfortable. Didn't think anything of it. So again, went to bed that night, woke up the next day, Saturday. Again, nothing. Throughout the whole day, felt totally fine, went about our day. Wasn't until, again, at night, put the kids to bed, laying down. This one was every like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, like very inconsistent, but like 10 minutes, 20, 15, 10, like it just all within there. More of, again, the menstrual cramping. Nothing extremely painful, just like a little ache in my side here or there. So I was like, okay, just another night of this, I guess. Like, all right, whatever. Went to bed that night. Then the next day, Sunday, this was the first day that this actually lingered into the next day. I woke up and around 6 a.m. that day, feeling the menstrual cramping. And I was like, all right, this is starting to linger. Maybe today's the day. I'm not really sure, but it's not very painful. It's just like a little aching. So whatever, I'm going to go about my day. I paid attention though to how often they were coming, and it was like 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes. But again, I'm on my feet, moving all the time, taking care of my other kids and just up and moving all the time. So I was like, okay, well, maybe the inconsistencies of these crampings are just because I'm moving. I'm up and about. It's hard to get a good reading of how often they're actually coming because I just don't really have that chance to just like sit down and wait it out. But it wasn't that painful. And so went about my Sunday. I went to the gym. When I got to the gym though, I could tell they were coming more frequently, and in my head I was like, oh, this is just because I'm working out. I'm lifting weights, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm not having an opportunity to sit down. So they were coming then probably every like 20 minutes, but then 30, and then 15, and then 45. So still, again, very inconsistent. So I was like, oh, it's just because I'm working out. But they were starting to get like not more intense, but a little bit, I would say, like just a little more bothersome. But again, I was like, it's because I'm working out. So I finished my lift and I went to go walk on the treadmill, and I had to walk really, really slow compared to how I would normally walk. So I was like, okay, these are actually kind of getting annoying. I can walk through them, I can talk through them, so they're not like actual active in labor contractions. I was like, oh, I think I'm in like the pre-labor like labor of just, they're coming a little more frequently. They're just getting a little more annoying. Like I can tell that they're there now. So I remember texting Jake and being like, all right, these are happening a little more often. They're a little more painful than before, but like not painful, but like just more annoying. So I was like, I think I'm actually just gonna come home so that way I can sit and see if this continues how it is. And I left the gym at 11:30 a.m. that day. Then on my way home, I actually stopped at a CVS on my way home because I had to pick up some stuff to get ready for Shay and Colt for preschool for Halloween. So I stopped at CVS, then made my way home, and they were just kind of like getting a little more annoying, the side cramps. And so I helped get lunch ready for all the kids, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna sit though. I'm not even gonna make my lunch. I'm just gonna sit and see how this goes. And as I was timing them and paying attention to them, they were about every 15 minutes, every 20, but then every 10, and then every 12, and then 10 and 15. And I was like, all right, well, they're starting to get a little more annoying, a little closer together, but I'm gonna get up, make some lunch, see how that goes, and sit back down. So I made my lunch, sat back down, started eating my lunch. About halfway through my nice Harvest Bowl salad, and I felt a little gush of fluid. And I was like, all right, well, I guess today is the day, because with my third born, that is exactly what happened too. Felt a little gush of fluid. I was about to say water. It's not water. A little gush of fluid. And then went into the hospital that day to end up having my third born. So having that happen, I was like, all right, stuff's probably happening, but I didn't feel like rushed or panicked because it took some time with my third born when that happened. I still had like a lot of time until I actually had her. So with this, I was like, all right, same thing. I'm gonna take my time. So I was like, Jake, I'm leaking, so if you need to, go take a shower right now. I'm gonna finish cleaning up some stuff. I'm gonna call the doctor. If they say to come in, then I'll let your mom know to come on over. His mom was like on call to come over and watch the other kids if this were to happen. And I was like, oh, and I'll get some last minute stuff ready for the kids for school, because if I have to stay at the hospital, they have their Halloween party and then this. And so I was like, Jake went upstairs to shower. I was taking my sweet ass time. I was printing out labels for the kids' like Halloween gift things. I called the doctor and I was like, yeah, this is happening. Fluid, whatever. And he was like, yep, come on in. I was like, okay, cool. See you soon. And then I called my mother-in-law, be like, hey, can you come over? This is happening. So luckily she lives like 10-ish minutes away, so it was relatively quick for her to come over. When she came over, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go upstairs, shower, get some last minute things ready for my hospital bag, and I guess maybe we'll have a baby today. And then I have here, let me show you, it is a Snapchat that I sent a few of my friends. I remember I was like, I don't know if that's focusing, but I was like, I'm gonna save this just in case. And it's literally that Sunday. It says at 12:28 p.m. and I was just like, oh yeah, this is happening. So then I'm the contractions and I'm leaking fluid. I'm about to go to the hospital. I'm about to shower though. Just like sending a nice little like Snapchat update just to be like, yeah, this is probably happening and I'm probably gonna have a baby today. So this was at 12:30. Okay. So I took my shower, got some last minute things ready in my hospital bag, and the side cramps and cramping were getting just like a little more intense and happening a little more frequently. So I was like, all right, let me get my stuff ready. Picked up my hospital bag, was about to leave our bedroom, and I just felt her she nudged me, elbowed something. She jolted inside me, and I just had more of a rush of fluid where I dropped my hospital bag. And I was like, I need to change my pants, first of all. And second of all, I feel like contraction then hit me, because I was like, oh, that one kind of hurts a little bit. I was like, all right, well, she wants to get this rolling. She wants to go right now. So Jake had come upstairs and I was standing there like this, with my legs wide open. I'm like, I am literally dripping. It's I need to change my pants and we need to go. So then I changed my pants, Picked up my bag again, started walking out of our bedroom door, and got hit with another contraction where like I had to grab onto the banister railing and like breathe through it, drop my bag, had to breathe through it. And I was like, I like called down to Jake because he was downstairs. And at this point I was like, can you please come get my hospital bag because I cannot carry this right now. I just got hit with a contraction 3 minutes after the previous one. We need to get going. So went downstairs, said my goodbyes to the kids. We got in the car, started driving to the hospital. Again, luckily we're close to the hospital, probably like 10-ish minutes away. I got hit with 3 contractions in those 10 minutes on our way to the hospital. Just holding on to Jake's hand, breathing through it, truly trying to make sure to not like tense up, but to just like relax my body as they came and just like breathe through them. We parked in the parking garage and Jake was like, you go, I'll get the bags and catch up. And he caught up to me in like 2 seconds because I got out of that car. I started walking as fast as I could, but then I got hit with another contraction where I literally had to stop in the middle of the parking garage and just like breathe through it as Jake's like catching up to me with like our bags. We make it into the hospital, start checking in, and the guy was like, all right, how far along are you? Because I think they were expecting me because I called my doctor and he said to come in. And it's like, how far along are you? I'm like, 38 and a half weeks. And like, I didn't notice any of these small details, but Jake was, because he was just like, I was like focusing on like not having this baby in this lobby. And Jake was like tuning into everything else. And he was like, he said that the guy like literally like rolled his eyes because he probably thought I was like a first time mom. And I was like, oh, like I'm having like pains, and like came in for like false labor, but it was like, no, like this is happening. So like when I said 38 and a half weeks, I guess the guy like rolled his eyes. But then like called the nurse down, was like, yeah, we have this, like she's here, whatever, then whatever. So they sent down for a nurse, got me in a wheelchair, sitting in the lobby waiting, sitting in my wheelchair, get hit with another contraction, but I felt more at ease because I was like, all right, at least I'm at the hospital right now. The nurse comes down, she starts wheeling me, she's like, all right, take me through your day and how the contraction started, whatever. And I was like, all right, the 6 a.m., not very painful, this, and then that, and then whatever. And then got hit with this one, and then this, and then whatever. And she's like, okay, so this is your first or your second? And I was like, this is my 4th. And I kid you not, the way in which she picked up speed, pushing that wheelchair to get me to the elevator, to get me upstairs, she started going so much faster. Because then also, as I was telling her like how everything progressed throughout the day, I got hit with another contraction to the point though where I was like, give me a second, like I could not talk to her and tell her the story. Really just had to focus on relaxing my body and breathing through it. And we got upstairs, walked through the door of my hospital room at 1:10. She hands me the gown, she says, go in the bathroom, take everything off, this, that, whatever. Start taking my clothes off, put them in the little bag that they give me. I was about to put the gown on, got hit with another contraction. I had to hold on to like these railings that are next to the toilet in there, kind of like hunched over. And in my head, I was like, I like this baby's about to fall out of me. Like I could feel my body wanting to start like pushing it out. But I was just like breathing through it, trying to relax as best as I can. They get me to the bed and the contractions are just like coming now. They're coming so often. I'm holding on to Jake's hand in one hand, the other hand they're trying to, I still have a bruise from it. They tried like putting the IV right here and it didn't work. So then they eventually like got it in my hand here, but like they are like trying over here with one hand as I'm like holding on to Jake's, and I'm just like trying to like breathe and focus on these contractions. They're like trying to check me in and like get me into the system or whatever, like as I'm literally like telling them, I was like, my body is pushing this baby out, because they're like, don't push, the doctor's not here yet. And I'm like, I can't control that. I literally feel my body wanting to push her out. Because I guess the doctor was on his way to the ER to check on another patient. They're like calling, again, this was like a detail that Jake noticed because he was like watching everything and I was just like focused on like not having this baby. And he was like, the nurses were like calling him constantly, like, get upstairs, she said, like, get up, don't push, get like trying to get him to the room. They didn't even have time to like hook me up to monitor the baby. Like, none of that. They got an IV in my hand, kept telling me, don't push, don't push. Fortunately, at one point, I told him, I was like, my body is just doing this. Like, I'm about, like, I need to, like, I have to, this is about to happen. And doctor walks in the room, zooms on over to me, and literally I give one, like, massive push, and she was there. So I got into my hospital room at 1:10, and she was there at 1:20. And if you would have told me that day I was going to be leaving the gym at 11:30 and having my baby 2 hours later, I might have actually believed you, but not necessarily to the extent of this. But it was a wild day, to say the least. And my wildest, like, labor, considering all my other ones, I had epidurals, I had time to kind of, like, process it happening. This one just kind of came full force, and I just had to go into it and just be confident, though, that I was more than prepared to have the natural birth. And just, I think that eased my worries going into it, because again, like I said, I was, like, thrown into it. I just had that one jolt of a contraction, and then she was ready to come. So, like, I'm just so glad that I prepared my body the way that I did, because that eased my stresses going into that, because I was forced into pretty much having that situation, which I'm actually very thankful, very glad that I did. I think it's really led me to have one of my best and quickest recoveries. And yeah, I think everything just happened as it should, and it was supposed to. But crazy day. So that is how Nell Rose decided to make her arrival into this world.